I will forever be embarrassed to stand upright and call myself human, like that's something to be proud of. And people have the audacity to claim that we are civilized and intelligent? You've got to be kidding. The only thing that we've changed in the last 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 years is our haircuts and our clothes. We're the same barbarians we've always been. Always thinking we're better than someone else. Always taking advantage of someone else instead of extending mercy and compassion and decency to someone else. If you want to bring peace to the world, peace to the Middle East, try veganism for a change. Because I know meat, cheese, milk, and eggs certainly isn't working. Try something else for a change. So how come if the animals in that video were dogs and cats? People would be outraged. If there were kids, the world would scream bloody murder. Instead, the victims are cows and chickens and fish, and all of a sudden it's okay. So I am a little confused here. Is the slaughterhouse the problem? Or is the problem just who's getting killed in the slaughterhouse? Because it's a house of slaughter. Why does it even exist? Especially in a country that loves to say, never again. It'll never happen again. I got some harsh news for you. The animal holocaust was happening long before the Jewish Holocaust, during the Jewish Holocaust, and it's still happening today. It is time for Israel to become the first nation on this planet to abolish concentration camps once and for all.
Amen.
All I'm asking you to do is something normal and natural. Eat what comes from the earth, what the ground pushes up, and what the trees drop down and give us. Every single vitamin, mineral, and nutrient that exists, protein, calcium, iron, potassium, all the B vitamins, they have an original source, and it ain't the animals. I know you're aware that people eat animals after the animals have already eaten things that come from the earth. People eat cows after the cows have eaten up all the grass and some of the soil. Then we ship them off to a feedlot, and we feed them most of our corn, wheat, oats, and soy. Then we take more of the corn, the wheat, the oats, and the soy. We shove it down the throats of pigs, chickens, and turkeys. Stop filtering your nutrients through someone else's body. It's irrational. Go to those sources directly. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, legumes, lentils. These things cannot harm you, cannot cause a disease, and most importantly, they never intentionally harm anyone else in the process. But when we consume what walks and what flies and what swims, that is abnormal. Where does everybody think diseases come from? Broccoli? Asparagus? Blueberries? Strawberries? Peaches, nectarines, grapes, bananas, avocados? And I am aware that many other factors can lead to a disease. Stress is an absolute killer. It is. So is lack of sleep and excessive amounts of empty carbohydrates and sugar. But animal products, animal protein, cholesterol, saturated fat, huge amounts of fat, trans fatty acids that are naturally found in meat and dairy. Animal products remain the main cause of every major disease. Check out the All About Veganism section on my website. I now have links to more than 50 medical studies proving that veganism by far is the healthiest way to live. And let me destroy some lies about B12 and the hereditary factor for disease. First, B12 comes from bacteria that live in our mouth and intestines. That bacteria also exists in the mouth and the intestines of all the animals and the soil. So, you can let your body produce B12 naturally, which is what we and all the animals do. Or you can eat some unwashed organic vegetables once in a while with some dirt still on them, like carrots and celery, and get all the B12 you will ever need. B12 is also destroyed by heat. So once you cook something, like meat, the B12 is gone. And the other myth is that we can't do anything about our health because it's already programmed into our genes. Hey, Gary, that was a great speech, man, but heart disease runs in my family. Breast cancer keeps running in my family. Nonsense. Don't you know what runs in people's families? You should by now. Meat, cheese, milk, and eggs. It's not hereditary when our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents ate the same disgusting, unhealthy things that we still eat. Actually, that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and always expecting a different result. Baldness is hereditary. You can thank your mom and dad for that. Eye color is in the genes. Cystic fibrosis, Down syndrome, that's in the genes. Heart disease and cancers are not. Now, I want to break this down for you even further and show you exactly who's been lying to you all these years. Because according to the dairy industry itself, the main reasons they exist are so you can get protein and calcium. Now, unless you plan on starving yourself to death, which I do not recommend, it's impossible not to get protein. You couldn't even do it if you tried, because fruit is around 5% protein. Vegetables are around 33% protein. Meat, by the way, on average, 34% protein. We're talking a 1 percentage point difference. Nuts have protein, beans have protein, lentils have protein, brown rice, millet, quinoa, barley, every single grain, every single seed on this planet has protein. 1 cup of tempeh. Tempeh is a meat-like substance made from fermented soy. 1 cup has more than 30 grams of protein. And the seaweed, spirulina, 79% protein, which is nearly twice the amount of protein found in any animal product. So again, unless you're planning on starving yourself to death, it's impossible not to get your protein intake. As for the calcium, which is abundant in the plant kingdom, like every nutrient that exists, that's where nutrients come from, the plants. Best sources, by the way, of calcium are almonds, broccoli, parsley, and sea vegetables, seaweed. But check out the vitamins section on my website, because I now have a detailed list of the best sources for more than 100 nutrients. But the dairy industry, boy, they love to say, eat some cheese, drink some cow's milk, strong bones, strong body. Milk does a body good. Happy cows got milk. Most people eat dairy products 3 times a day. You can't even get a sandwich anymore without cheese. People put cheese and meat on salads, too. And by the way, if you're eating a salad with meat and cheese on it, it's not a salad. Stop that shit. It's a sandwich without the bread. All chopped up in little pieces put inside of a bowl. Spare me the chicken salad, tuna salad crap. A salad is comprised of vegetables and plant products only. And if you're lucky enough to find a vegetable-only salad somewhere, what's the first thing people have to say to the waiter like an addict? Some ranch. You please pour some dairy all over these vegetables for me? So in this society where everybody is hooked on dairy, I mean hooked like it's been laced with cocaine and Percocet, most people can't even fathom 1 meal, let alone 1 day or a lifetime without cheese. In fact, if you want to know why vegetarians never make that switch to veganism, cheese on a baked potato, cheese on a broccoli, cheese on everything in sight. Even lactose intolerant people eat cheese. So we have all these animal products coming into our diets for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day without exception. Snacks, too. Did you ever wonder why nearly every other commercial on TV has something to do with pills and illnesses? And why our parents and grandparents have to take multivitamins every day? And why there's a drugstore on every street corner pushing vitamins and pharmaceuticals on everybody. After all, we do live in a meat, dairy, and egg-eating world. You think maybe people need pills because meat, cheese, milk, and eggs are pure and utter garbage with very little to no nutritional value whatsoever? And let me mention something quickly about the environment and world hunger. Because a lot of people keep telling me that they care more about humans than animals, so they can never go vegan. As if eating some tofu today is going to mess up your human rights activities for the day. I'll never understand the logic on this, especially because meat, dairy, and egg-eating societies are the main cause of world hunger, as they continuously feed 50% of the world's crops. 50%. Back to the 60 billion land animals in the meat, dairy, and egg industries, and the tens of billions of marine animals on fish farms that we kill every year, instead of using those crops to feed 7.5 billion people. Do the math on this. You don't have to be Einstein to figure out this equation. Every 2 to 3 seconds, some human dies from starvation. But chickens, turkeys, pigs, they never miss a meal. Meat, dairy, and egg eating is the worst form of human and animal abuse. And when it comes to pure environmental destruction, air pollution, water pollution, deforestation, nothing competes with animal agriculture. There is no such thing as a meat, dairy, or egg-eating environmentalist. But check out the 2 environmental sections on my website for more detailed information about that, because I want to spend a little more time right now condemning the dairy industry. Because when it comes to cruelty, I think there's more cruelty in a piece of cheese, in a glass of milk, in yogurt, than there is in meat. First of all, most hamburger meat comes from the dairy industry. When cows can't produce huge amounts of milk after 3 to 7 years, slaughterhouse, no exception. If ever given a chance, cows can live to be 18 to 25. And cows are like all female mammals. And I don't mean to be speaking down to anybody. You know, that's how it sounds. It's just that when people are addicts, they're irrational. They become completely illogical about everything, especially their addiction. I know you understand this concept. You just never think about it when it comes to the animals. Cows are like all female mammals. They can only produce and give milk during or after pregnancy. So once a year, every cow and every dairy farm is raped to impregnate her. A long steel device shoved in her vagina to inject her with bull semen. Or sometimes they just use a bare hand to do it. Got to get that milk flow going somehow. And later on, after she gives birth, her newborn baby is stolen from her. A couple months later, repeat the process all over again. And why would the dairy industry steal newborn babies from their moms? Well, they can't have little calves sucking up all that milk that was meant for them. And they'd rather sell it to you instead. Every time you have dairy, some calf is not. And mother cows make milk for one reason anyways. For their babies and for their babies alone. This case is closed forever, permanently. There will be no debate and no discussion on this topic whatsoever. The jury is in. They certainly don't make milk for baby elephants, and baby orangutans, and baby rabbits, and baby rats. Baby humans, adolescent humans, or adult humans. This body of ours has absolutely no need for cow milk, like it has absolutely no need for giraffe milk, and zebra milk, rhinoceros milk, hippopotamus milk, camel milk, goat milk, horse milk, pig milk, dog milk, or cat milk. The only milk that we ever need comes from our own mother. That's it. And after the first few years of life, we never need 1 drop of milk ever again. No species on this planet needs milk after the first few years of life. But if you want to include some kind of milk in your diet like I do, it is finally time for some good news. Because I can see it on some of your faces. You're like, damn, did you fly all the way from Michigan to Israel just to verbally abuse us? Lighten up, man. Actually, I came here today to show you what you've been missing. Because everyone's got those blinders on nice and tightly. But everything you like to eat, the taste, the smell, and the texture, we got a vegan version for you. It's been veganized. There's soy milk, rice milk, almond milk, hemp milk, coconut milk, oat milk, hazelnut milk, sunflower milk, and flax milk. You can mimic the taste and texture of meat with tofu, and tempeh, and seitan. Plus, we got all those vegan meats and vegan dairy products made from plant products, not from chemicals. Let's not forget about the basics, the staples of life, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds and grains and legumes. And what about ethnic food? Boy, people are clamoring all over the world for Middle Eastern food, and guess where we're at right now? Yeah, Middle Eastern food. Falafel, tabbouleh, hummus, fattoush, lentil soup. You can always add Asian food, stir-fried vegetables, and tofu. Just remember, when ordering Asian dishes, always order those dishes without fish sauce added to it. There's Indian food, like aloo gobi, cauliflower, potatoes, and curry, or chana masala, chickpeas, and tomatoes. Mexican food, rice and beans and guacamole. Ethiopian food, split peas and lentils. Italian food, pasta, spaghetti, and pizzas. Without cheese, unless you got a really cool place in town that does have the vegan cheese. In fact, we're doing something very cool at Domino's Pizza very soon at all 50 locations throughout Israel. We'll be offering vegan cheese on their menus. Okay, so you can have all the stuff that you still want just in the vegan version. But check out my website for tips on what to eat and where to eat. I have a restaurant section. I have a recipe section. I have a veg athlete section. You got GaryTV.com that has a link to Vegan Friendly, which is the group down here that's been converting all the restaurants to have a vegan menu. Please go to the web and check out all the great places that are out there to eat, especially throughout Tel Aviv. Now, don't think I don't watch your faces when I'm up here, because that's what I do when I'm preaching. I'm watching all your expressions. How come when I talk about tofu and tempeh and pizzas without cheese, always catch a couple people in every crowd start to wrinkle up their noses, eyes get a little wide and start glancing over at their friends like, tofu, is this guy crazy? Tempeh, he must be out of his mind. What the hell is seitan? Seitan is wheat meat, by the way. It's meat that's made from wheat. So how come tofu and pizzas without cheese are considered gross to most people? And fruits and vegetables are considered gross to most people. But meat, oh, it's time to break meat down for everybody. You got 5 components to meat: blood, flesh, veins, muscles, and tendons. The cut-up corpse of a dismembered body? How does meat not qualify as disgusting and gross to everybody? How in the world is a liquid that oozes out of a cow's udder, a secretion that drips from an animal's body, that's loaded with pus, by the way, stuff that comes out of your zit, pus. How's that not considered gross to everybody? Oh, and let me tell you about the pus in the cow's milk. It'd be my pleasure. When you hook machines up to the udders of cows 3 times a day to suck them dry, those machines cause massive amounts of infections and irritations on the inside and outside of the udder. Then when you add all the bovine growth hormone and all the genetic engineering that's been done to a cow's body to make sure she produces huge amounts of milk, which always leads to another infection, the machine doesn't know what not to suck out. Pus, mucus, and infections right into the milk. And yes, milk is pasteurized. But exactly when did pasteurization become a removal process? Last time I checked, it was a sanitation process, meaning you're only sanitizing pus. If you want to look this up online, well, you don't think the dairy industry would ever use the word pus when they write about this problem in their own trade journals, do you? No, they're going to deceive you again. Look up the scientific term for pus. Somatic cell count. S-O-M-A-T-I-C. And let's talk about some other disgusting things that you guys love to eat. Did you know that the backside of a bird is called a cloaca? C-L-O-A-C-A. It was the opening scene in the video. I could pop that back in if you want to see it. It's one hole. It is one hole, but it serves many purposes. It's the poop hole. It's the pee hole. It's the vaginal fluid hole. And it's the hole where your scrambled eggs and omelets come from. Yeah, I remember back in the day. I used to love my scrambled eggs with shit sprinkles and urine splatter all over it, too. Because you know when you crack that shell over the bowl, All those microscopic particles fly every which way. And what about vomit? Puke. Come on, you guys love vomit. You adore vomit in, on, and all over your food. Better give this a pretty name. Now, no one's going to want to buy and eat vomit unless we call it honey instead. Honey comes directly from a bee's stomach. It is regurgitated right through a bee's mouth. Look that up with any wildlife biologist. But no one wants to eat bee vomit nut Cheerios. We want honey nut Cheerios. So we lie to ourselves and play euphemism games. The standard diet of a meat, dairy, and egg eater is blood, flesh, veins, muscles, tendons, cow secretions, things that come out of a hen's ass, and bee vomit? Oh, we're not done yet. I'm not going to let you off the hook that easy like I got here tonight. Because we top it all off, in my opinion, because every year when people start cooking turkeys for the holidays, boy, people take a dead turkey, carve out a really big hole in that dead turkey's ass, take some stuffing and shove it inside their dead empty ass, and use their little dead ass as an oven to bake some bread. Somebody else's dead empty bacteria-laden ass to make bread. Ass bread, ass stuffing, and people think vegans are weird because we eat tofu. I tell people nowadays one of my favorite meals, yams and barley. Boy, hook me up with some sweet potatoes and some barley, and I'm a happy guy. I know how most people are, though. I tell them this, and they're like, you just eat grains and vegetables for dinner? Yeah, I don't know, man. That's kind of weird. Okay, but somebody else's rib cage sitting on your plate isn't weird? Severed legs, sliced up thighs, and mutilated breast on your plate isn't weird and doesn't make you think twice? Is bestiality weird to anybody? Doing sexual things with animals? Because I used to think everybody thought so, but not even close, my meat, cheese, milk, egg-loving friends. Because you engage in carnivorous bestiality on a daily basis. Sometimes multiple times a day. You eat things that come out of a hen's ass and shove things into a turkey's ass. You eat breast, legs, and thighs, and then you pay somebody else to sexually molest a cow and squeeze her nipples for you so you can steal her milk? Man, you guys are obsessed with hen asses and cow tits. Enough already. Seriously? Can everybody get a grip on reality? And step into the 21st century and stop mimicking the behavior of cavemen and cavewomen? You have a choice today. When you leave this room, you can choose to be radically kind, to never intentionally harm another animal for breakfast, lunch, or dinner ever again. These animals have never violated you or taken advantage of you in any way. The least you can do is return the favor. Or stay radically cruel. Keep the status quo as is. Make sure animals have their babies stolen from them. Make sure their horns are cut off, beaks sliced off, testicles ripped out. Make sure they're raped. Make sure they never experience one drop of human kindness. And make sure there's a knife in their throat every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day, for eternity. I really hope you make the right choice. I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to do some Q&A right now. Are there any questions out there? You want me to clarify something I said that makes no sense? How I got started, how you should get started?